When I posted this to my Instagram story saying I was only going to be uploading one video and I was going to be staying off the internet and staying calm and collective, I did not expect to be making a video on someone who collects CP and is under house arrest. Right, so I think I should give you the details of this. So basically, a person called Kanetso that I've had runnings in the past with, we had a debate, I made a few videos on him exposing him for being a prick. And look, this time there was nothing to suggest he was a prick, except from the blatant transphobic tweets, and that was it. But he alerted me of a twitlonger that he recently put out, and I had no clue that he put out a twitlonger. And I started reading it, and he was talking about his friend he met on the dark web getting caught for child porn, getting arrested, and then getting out on bail. Oh yeah, did I forget that he also distributes drugs. So of course I contacted Kanetso to talk about this, and his response baffled me because he said that he didn't know what twitlonger I was talking about. I had a conversation with Kanetso and he revealed to me that this man is 20 years old and he likes to browse on the dark web, which was already a massive red flag to me because if you are browsing the dark web anyway, you wouldn't trust someone who's 20 years old, especially on that platform. At that point, befriending a 20-year-old man on the dark web is like me going up to a 20-year-old random man in the streets and saying, "Can I get in the back of your van?" But I digress. I wasn't too surprised that he went on the dark web, as the night before he had unblocked me to tell me why the dark web was so good and that I should go on the dark web and convince my friends Sin and Cynical Joseph to go on the dark web. He also did this with one of my other friends, Charlotte, who was involved with Anonymous and Eva Payton's situation. Again, I just want to mention something. He brought up that he saw Tom and Jerry cocaine. Now, this is important detail for something later on in the situation. I actually managed to browse the dark web, and what I've seen was funny. For example, gory porn videos, bones for sale, Tom and Jerry cocaine for sale, etc. It was easier to access the dark web than I thought it would be, and I don't recommend any more browsing. Now, in any term here, Kanetso is doing what he always does, and he's contradicting himself. He said that he doesn't want anyone to browse it or himself to browse it, when the night before, less than 24 hours ago, he was trying to convince others to browse the dark web. Now, Kanetso said that I could speak to this individual that went on house arrest. A Twitter message before this, though, he said that his friend was in prison rather than house arrest, when in his own twitlonger, he said his friend was on house arrest. And now this is a man forgetting the key details of a very important case about child porn. The first messages with this guy were oddly suspicious. I was first suspicious of the username. It sounded like someone had just bashed some things into a keyboard. I was very suspicious of this in general because it seemed like this account was just recently made. Another red flag to me for this was the name just sounded like it was trying too hard to be like the dark web and creepy. The second bunch of messages were very random. Again, it was like someone had just bashed their keyboard and these are the words that came up. His final message in the chat before he left was, "I'm jerking off to gory porn." And if anyone remembers, gory porn and Tom and Jerry cocaine were put into Kanetso's tweet. I then caught Kanetso in once again another lie, as he said that he didn't know what gory porn meant, but he used it in his tweet. He also said then that his friend had been basically selling human organs and kidnapping people. And this was, again, a massive red flag that this was just a bullshit situation to draw me in. Now, he quickly retracted this and said, it was a joke, which I just do not think any normal person would be joking in this sort of situation when the stakes are already this high, when you're being convicted of having child porn and distributing it, and the same with drugs. This is just a virtual statement rather than text messages that could be taken out of context, like I said, just so that we're clear on that, because that could be used for drama-related shit that we don't really want. So, what is going on with this guy that you were friends with, or are friends with? I don't know what the correct term is there.
Okay, so I actually know him in real life, and he's my friend's cousin.
And you both do dark web activities, I can see, as you've stated and he stated.
Yes.
Yeah. And what about him? So, as you've stated, he was caught with CP and drugs.
Wait, what did you say?
He was caught with CP and drugs, child porn and drugs, wasn't he? As from your Twitter longer suggested and said.
You mean like articles?
In your tweet longer, you said that he was distributing child pornography and that he was also distributing drugs.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
hmm And obviously, you've been very outgoing in the fact that you disapproved of my friend Sin's drug use and Cynical's vape usage. So, was that a red flag to you?
Um, if it was a red flag to me.
Yeah, that it could be something bad, that he could be a bad person if he was doing drugs, if he was going on the dark web.
Yeah, it kind of was.
hmm And are you still friends with this guy?
I don't think I am still friends with him.
Yeah, because again, like that would be contradicting something you'd like gone against was CP, which you've actively gone against in the past. And how long have you known him?
How long I known him?
Yeah.
Um, since early 2021.
And has he always been acting like this?
If he always been acting like this?
Yeah, with drugs, child porn, vaping,
No. He,
drugs, going on the dark web.
we only started to get on the dark web this year.
hmm and you recently put out a tweet that you weren't going to be going on the dark web, and you actively went against people going on the dark web, didn't you?
Wait, you said I made a tweet that I was going to the dark web, right?
No, you said you made a tweet saying that you weren't going to go on the dark web anymore, and that other people shouldn't. That's correct, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Didn't and like again, purely for voice evidence and stuff, virtual evidence. Didn't you also, try and like get my friend Sin to go on the dark web?
If I try to get your friend cynical on the dark web.
Yeah, Sin and Cynical, didn't you? You wanted me to ask them to thing.
Yeah, but it's not that I want them to get hurt or something.
Uh, y- yeah. Um, but no. So, what are your activities on the dark web?
My activity on the dark web.
Mm-hmm.
What do I do there?
Yeah, yeah. What do you actively do there?
What do I do on the dark web?
Now, I'd just like to interject here. At this point, he's trying to figure out what he actually does on the dark web, which is giving me a red flag that he might not actually traverse the dark web and go on there, and that this is all a ruse to try and lure me back into drama with him. Yeah,
Um,
because the dark
so
web is a very suspicious place. You can only really do dark, well, not dark things, but like you can only really do serious things.
um, I go there and I only visit some sites. I don't really buy anything or sell anything.
Right. But why do you visit? Why do you visit them? Why do you visit the sites and shit?
Oh, it's not like CP sites or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Why
What
do
kind
I
of sites
visit the
are there?
sites?
Yeah, yeah. Why do you?
Why shouldn't I?
Well, it can be a quite dangerous place. Aren't you worried about that?
It's fun.
The fact he couldn't give me a definite reason of why he traverses the dark web and goes on there and goes on websites and which ones he goes on is just a massive red flag to me that again he just doesn't, and he's doing this to try and big himself up. He's also saying that dark web is quite fun, which is just not true. It's quite a spooky, dark place. Again, no pun intended, but that's what it is. It's not a place that's meant to be fun. The only circumstances it can be quite fun is if you're sick in the head and you generally think that gore, child porn is fun. It's fun, but then there's all these sort of weird people on there with child pornography, violence, and all that stuff.
Yeah, but you can find violence on the normal web. You don't really need to access the dark web.
hmm Last question. This situation's like it's quite fresh, isn't it? Like the past few hours.
Yeah, I only came out in public right now.
Mm-hmm. No worries, man. I'm glad I've got like just this virtual thing rather than messages that could be taken out of context. So you can go on your way unless you've got anything else you want to say about the situation.
What?
You can leave now if you want, unless you've got anything else to say about the situation.
Okay, what if I leave?
You just leave the call.
Okay, so you want me to make a statement?
Yeah, unless you've got anything else to say about this, then you can just like leave this chat.
I don't really have a long statement, but I can say some things.
Yeah, go on then.
Like what?
Whatever details you've left out or I don't know about.
Do you want me to prove that it's actually true what happened?
Yes, that would be good.
Hold on. So you want me to prove that it's actually a real situation?
Yep. Not like a fake situation, We're just got to be cautious.
Yeah. I'm gonna look for proof.
Okay. Is there a police report? Is there messages beforehand with this guy that you can use? Because you said you only have him on Discord.
Police report. I don't have a police report, but I do have screenshots of him engaging in CP.
Now, the thought of Kanetsu actually going through and sending me child porn is disturbing because the fact is, if he wanted to send me proof of the CP, he would have to show child porn, and that's what he's saying here. He's not saying that he's going to show creepy messages of him asking for child porn, which would be enough in itself of evidence. He's literally talking about sending me screenshots of this guy literally receiving child porn. And my one question here is, why the hell does he have screenshots of child porn? Because in my opinion, this situation has got dark very, very quickly. Um. So yeah, if that's all the evidence, then just send that along, or leave this chat and send it along.
Okay, I'm gonna try to get it because I cannot find it.
Oh, right. That's completely understandable, especially with this situation. But I'm assuming you don't have anything else to say about this. Again, for me, this was another red flag. He claims to have messages between this guy that exposes him for wanting child porn, but then when I ask, they're magically disappeared.
I really don't, but I can prove that this situation is real, kinda.
Just send me the evidence along, and that'd be good. So I'm gonna leave this chat and kick you from the chat as well now. Thank you for
I'm gonna
giving
try
me.
to find it.
Okay.
Hold on. Bro, I don't have anything safe. The evidence, the stuff is with the police, okay?
Okay. So there's no evidence. That's completely fine as long as I've got your statement. It's all good.
There is evidence, but I don't have it.
Now that leads up to my next question. Why claim to have the evidence? Because of course I knew any evidence about this guy would be with the police. You can't distribute evidence. But what caught my interest was the fact he was claiming to have all this evidence against this guy. And there was no proof to say that the situation was real or wasn't real. So I was very hesitant about this. He then sent me screenshots of supposed child porn, and with the date of the 1st and the 5th of the 2nd of February, which just, in my opinion, is incredibly suspicious because during this period of time, me and him were in a lot of controversy and beef. We were having multiple debates, we were making multiple videos on each other, and I was friends with him on Discord at this point, and his account was not orange at all. And on top of that, he claims that this phantom guy is the same guy as the guy that is being accused of all this shit, the guy I spoke to, when I just do not believe this is the same guy. I don't even believe that these messages are real due to the fact that this account, which was definitely the same account that I spoke to a few months ago of Kanetsu's, just didn't match up with what it looked like at that point. And then with the apparent child porn he sent along, the child porn was not child porn. It was adults, and you could see through the cracks of what he was trying to scribble out. So I just do not believe this situation is real. I believe that Kanetsu has concocted this to try and lure me in and try to expose me for being a creep or a weirdo. In either way this situation falls, it's incredibly weird and disgusting the fact that if Kanetsu is lying about this, he's throwing around child porn allegations, making them fun for a situation that he's made up. He's done this with, as you've seen, that regardless of the situation, he's made fun of dismembering bodies and selling them on the dark web. So it's highly plausible that this situation is fake and he's just joking about this to try and get me into trouble. Or the other side of it, which this situation is very much real, and he's friends with a person that spread child porn and spread around drugs. Either way, he comes off really bad in this situation. There's no doubt about it. The fact that he did not block this guy who was sending him child porn is deeply disturbing. At the time of making this is the only evidence out there, and I highly suggest that you stay away from Kanetsu. This guy is on a mad one. He should not be trusted. Not only if we are meant to believe the circumstances, he traverses the dark web. Apparently, he's in contact with these people that do like child porn and do a lot of drugs and spread drugs around. I just wouldn't get involved with him. It's not worth it.